Hello and welcome to the Blackout Podcast, where I get to talk to amazing people who do amazing things. And today I have my friend, music teacher, artist, dance teacher, instrumentalist, Mary Beth Carty. Thanks for coming to the podcast today.
Oh man, I love your podcast, Israel. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Okay, so Music Week. How was Music Week for you?
Oh my gosh, Music Week was just dreamy. We played this showcase on a stage in a big room. It was a big room, so no one was turned away. Unlike the former year at Music Week, like, we're so popular, the shows were sold out. But this one, there was like, people were dancing at our showcase. There was lights were incredible. The sound was incredible. And just actually the whole event, like just seeing all the other bands, everyone was awesome. It was, and I met you there. So nice to meet you. You were volunteering?
Yeah.
That's sweet.
I'm cheap. If you volunteer, you don't need to buy me.
Can't have a festival with no volunteers. So thank you for doing that.
Right. So which came first, music or dancing?
Oh, that's a good question. I feel like in my mind, music and dance are one and the same, you know? Especially like where I come from, we do percussive dance, and then the sounds of the feet are part of the music.
Right.
So which came first, the chicken or the egg, the
right.
the cart or the horse, the music or the dance?
Right.
It's a good question.
But how did music start for you?
Well, I think that my mother is obsessed with singing and choral singing, and anyone who knows her knows that she can't not sing. She's just going around singing all the time. So really, I would have been in her womb just like soaking up the soprano sounds.
Yeah, like.
But and then I just some of my early memories, like, were driving on long drives. I have family in Massachusetts, so you know, it was like the 80s. So my mother gave me this cassette tape recorder, and I'd be like in the back seat of the car, like making up songs with the cassette recorder. And another early memory is like, you know, just, you know, banging on pots and pans and like being obsessed with rhythm and like banging on the walls and just sort of making music with the house. Yeah.
So it was a very musical house growing up for you.
Oh, I made it musical, whether they liked it or not. But yeah, my family is very musical. Like, in my family house, like growing up, it was the radio that was always on. CBC radio on 24/7, and several radios in several different rooms in the house. But like my extended family, my cousins are like renowned fiddlers and Celtic musicians, and so at parties, there would be like live music at the parties. So.
Okay, so it's one thing to listen to music and sing, and then it's another thing to actually make the music. I mean, I know you mentioned that you did those like recordings on the drives, but at what point did you think, okay, well, there's something here, or something I should take more seriously, I guess?
That it's like almost unconscious, where I think, I was living in Halifax, going to university here. But even before that, I think I would come to the end of learning one instrument, and then I would like pick up another instrument and just kept picking up instruments all through my teenage years. And I wasn't like one of those child prodigies. Like, there's some people in my community who they are known from when they were a kid. Like one of my cousins, Anna Ludlow. Everyone, when she was a teenager, she was playing gigs and stuff. Me, I was more like kind of in my bedroom, sitting on the floor with my guitar, like teaching myself songs. It was just an obsession that I had. And like, I didn't study music at university. I studied English literature, but nonetheless, it was still an obsession with me, like for all through those university years. I had this band in Halifax called the Johnson Sisters, and I think that was like when I first started playing in a more like public capacity. None of us had a car. We didn't draw it. Like, we just played around Halifax. But that's when I started learning. Oh yeah, what's a patch cable? Like, how do you plug yourself in? How do you use a microphone? All of that. So maybe that was where it started to get a little bit more serious.
And like, do you remember the first song you wrote? Your song?
I do. I remember the first song I wrote. It was called. There was like an alt country trend going on at the time. The first song I wrote was called "Cancel My Subscription." Brackets to your heart.
Oh.
So that was like it was like a funny country song, and then I wrote this. I think the next song that I wrote that was good was called "The Waitress Song," and people covered that song. I think it was a good song. Yeah.
What was the Waitress song about?
Waitress song was
isn't it name?
Let me just think of how did they go. It's about like you're working at the restaurant and you're cleaning up, and it's about heartbreak and.
Okay, cancel subscription of my heart to my heart.
Oh, yeah, that was one. And then the Waitress song, the chorus was, I don't mind being lonely, but you have got some nerve to tell me that you love me and leave me in the dirt. 'Cause I'm blindfolded and I can see the score. So tell me all about her, and then don't talk to me no more. But there's other scenes of the restaurant in the verses, yeah.
God damn. I'm always envious of people like, do you hear the melody? Like, what happens when it comes to writing a song?
Yeah, I'll be going about daily chores or walking and doing whatever, and the melody will be in my head. Like some melody that I don't know where it came from. I don't know what it is. And then I have to go to, this has been happening to me lately, and I have to just go get my phone and go to the voice recorder and capture that moment, because if I don't do it right in that moment, like
It's gone.
2 minutes someone will call or something and it's gone. So I take those things as a sign though, like you got to capture them in the moment.
Sign that this is important.
Yeah,
You have
it's
to
like,
do it now.
okay, this is coming to me, just channeling something from somewhere else. I need to capture it, like
Right now, or else it's gonna go away.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're in Halifax. You're singing with the Johnson sisters.
yes.
Did you like? Were we always singing solo, or like did you decide to start a band, or?
Yeah, I think the way the Johnson sisters started. Do you want to hear that story?
Please.
There was this open mic down like at the Marquee in the basement there, and we would go, and my friend Annie Clifford and I would go, and so we would just sing. I think it was at the time that "Oh Brother Where Art Thou" the film came out, and we were all obsessed with those songs from that soundtrack, and we would like sing those songs at the open mic, and someone heard us, and we would sing in harmony. And so that was, and it was Gordy Roach, this old guy, R.I.P., saw us, and he turned to the person beside him, my friend Lyle Peterson, and said, "What are those sisters' names?" And Lyle just made up a last name. He said, Johnson. So Gordy Roach was organizing a show down at the Tribeca, I think it was. And when we saw the posters around town that said the Johnson sisters, and me and Annie were like, oh, shoot, right? They actually put an act together. So we asked our friend Becky if she'd join us, and the rest is history. Yeah, Becky Simon was the third member of the Johnson sisters.
Like, when it's one thing writing a song yourself, or versus writing with someone, or working on music with someone. How do you handle that dynamic? Writing on your song alone versus working with a friend or someone you're close to.
Oh, that's a good question. And that is something like I really would like to explore more, is writing with friends and writing with other people. Because sometimes it's just more motivating to have that person get their ideas and sort of mix it all up. So yeah, I want to do more co-writing. But writing alone, I really like journaling. So I try to do that and just poetry writing.
Wait, you did this? You write with a pen?
Yeah. Imagine.
No.
Do you know what, Israel? I ran out of ink in 2 pens earlier this week. Who does that happen to? I had to throw the pens away because there was no ink left in them.
Right.
Whoa.
So, it has to be organic for you. Like, why? Is it how it feels, or
It's just
versus just typing on your phone or your computer?
Yeah, it's just that intimacy of the paper. I just always did it that way. And at some point, I will transfer it to the computer, and that makes it, the editing a lot easier. Because otherwise, like in my journals, it's like everything's scratched out, and oh, this idea, and there's arrows, and yeah. But then, so I'll transfer it to the computer eventually. Yeah.
So you write it down. Because when you did that, I thought,
I have a whole box full of different colors of ink. I love ink. Yeah. And my 2 solo album covers I did with ink. Yeah. I love ink.
Why?
Something about like, it's like paint that's mixed. It's almost like paint. Yeah, I use it as a paint with brushes. It's nice.
Are there colors you like ink colors you like?
Oh my God. Yeah. And I just bought a whole bunch of purple because I have this vision for my next album that was yellow with purple ink. I haven't actually used the purple ink yet, but I invested in some purple ink.
Okay, so, Johnson Sisters happened. At what time do you start? Your first album, what was the process of getting that made?
Yeah, we recorded with the Johnson Sisters. We didn't ever really commercially release an album, but we made some demos and we put them out. At the time, it was CBC Music would have sort of a streaming website that you could put your music on. So our friends had, this friend of ours had just graduated from a big, important recording school in Toronto. The name I don't remember, but we went to his basement, and his girlfriend, Michaela, at the time, she had also gone to that school, so the two of them would set us up. But I found like in those days the recording studio was a stressful experience for me, much like yeah. But I'm getting used to it now.
Why?
Yeah.
What is about but that's you're doing this thing you love there though, right?
Yeah.
Right. So why is it stressful?
Yeah, I think maybe you kind of question yourself, kind of confidence issues maybe, especially someone who never really formally studied music, although like I'm self-taught on many instruments, but maybe it's that, or maybe it's the fact that it's it's so permanent.
Right.
It's going to be there, it's going to be locked down, and yeah, something about
But
that.
then you make all this beautiful music that you share with the world though, and that is a process through which, it is made.
It turns out good. Now I'm starting to make peace with it.
Yeah, you make freaking. Oh God, I don't know. It's like the powers that be decided not to give me any musical talent, because I think if I could play any instruments or if I could sing, I'd be a dick. I'm like, I want to play, I can sing. So it's like when I see people that you make this beautiful. It's so. Like this song, I can't say the word, but
the Gaelic song,
yeah,
in Boysdale.
It's so beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's like, how do you even make something like that? Okay. So
that was magic. It's all magic to me. I have the same feeling. Like, how did that turn out that way? That one turned out beautiful because of the help of my friends. Honestly, yeah. Thank you, though. That is a really sweet compliment.
No, it's so beautiful. Okay. So the Johnson Sisters, I don't want to see ended, but like your solo albums, how was it making the first one? Was it dreadful being in the studio making it?
Oh, well, I made 2 albums with this duo that I had called Bet and Wallette. And
Pause. I thought, okay, so let's talk about Ben Roulette.
Ben Wallette really was the band that there was 2 of us. We worked so hard. We put everything into that project, and the first album came out in 2008. There's the first song on that album is called the Squeegee Song, and it's perfect for this time of year. Like, I don't know when this is going to air, but it's a winter song. It's It's about punk, because I moved from Nova Scotia. I actually moved from Halifax to Quebec City, but I'm from Antigonish, which is like a very rural area. But anyways, like going there and you see the punks like with their squeegees washing the windshields of cars, and they would have like these incredible mohawks. I'm like, this is an incredible style. That's the subject of that song. It's kind of hilarious. It's kind of hilarious.
I'm like, squeegee song?
Yeah, the squeegee song. And people love that song.
Was the band in Quebec? Like,
Yeah, it was
oh,
when I
okay.
lived in Quebec City. So yeah, we had that album, and then we made another one that came out later. And we recorded those like really like my duo partner in that band, Gabrielle Willette. He was obsessed with recording, and we did it all in our house.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was that easier though? Like having the studio in the house?
Yeah, because then you don't have you're not thinking, oh, I'm paying so much per hour for this studio. You can just like do it on your own time, and then you can kind of control. I learned how to record, and when I was in Benton Willette, and edit and all of that. So that and yeah, those.
How was that experience for you?
I'm glad I got that knowledge from that time. Yeah.
Okay, so then you go solo, or
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was like around 2011. We were living in Nova Scotia. Gabrielle moved back to Quebec, and I did this show of the songs of Robbie Burns as my sort of solo breakout kind of a show. It was like two sets of songs by just this one Scottish poet from 200 years ago who wrote over 400 songs. And so I learned. There was a box set made by a university of all his songs. So I learned from that and picked out my favorites, and we did it like a New Year's Eve.
How many songs did you play?
I think I played probably like 20 songs at that show.
That's a lot.
But it was a lot of variety. I would switch between guitar, accordion, and bones and piano, and a lot of people came out. It was in a church. It was in a chapel, and it was a really nice way to end the year. And I kind of needed that for my own healing. Like I needed a project to work on just to sort of get over the fact that my band that was very successful was suddenly over.
Why did it end?
Well, Gabrielle sort of, like there's a lot of musicians that suffer from burnout because it's so strict. Like we were touring a lot. We would go to France, Western Canada, and it would be like you'd come home for a couple of days and then you'd fly away, and you were away from home so much. It was stressful. And he just couldn't take it anymore. Yeah.
So you do this 20-song thing, and then at what point did you decide you were going to write your own songs?
That also came about as like, an inspiration from who knows where. I wrote one song called Thomas. That was just something that like I was inspired to write. Maybe like, yeah, whatever inspired that, I won't go into right now. But I thought, I can write another song like that. So I wrote a song called Anthony. I was like, I should make it into a trilogy like Star Wars. So I wrote a song called Henri. And so then it was a trilogy, and then I kept going with that concept. And then I put some girls' names in there too. And so that was my first album, Les Bien Nommés.
That's French?
It's mostly, there's 6 songs French, 2 songs in English, and 2 instrumentals on that album.
And you played everything on the album?
Well, no, that album, I mostly just played accordion. I played guitar on one song, but I had a band. It was my bros from my hometown. We were living in Antigonish, so literal bros, Greg and Brendan Melchin. Greg is a bass player, and Brendan, he helped me also engineer the album, and we recorded a lot of it in their parents' basement because they were living with their parents at the time. So Greg and Brendan Melchin, and then star violin player who lives in Halifax now, Donald McClellan, was the other member of the quartet. So yeah, it was like a power quartet. Just the 4 of us on that album. No overdub harmonies, just like literally us in the basement. Maybe we'd get it. The third take would be good live off the floor and be okay. And then I would, at first it was overdubbing the vocals afterwards, but after a while I'm like, guys, let's just do it all at the same time. Like you get a better feeling that way. That's how we made that album.
Holy shit, that's so organic. You really love that raw feel, right? I think.
I like the raw feel, like, like that breakout song with Beth Carty, Squeegees. It sort of has this, I wanted to kind of mix the trad with the sort of a punk vibe. Because there's some bands like that I really like Go-Go Bordello, and, I kind of like that vibe. Yeah.
Okay. You've mentioned, before you go to the next album, you've mentioned a couple of, like, you play instruments. You have the guitar and the jaw harp.
Yeah.
Here. which of the instruments did you learn to play first, and how many instruments do you play now?
I'd say my first instrument was the piano. Yeah. There was a piano in our house growing up, and I took lessons and I practiced my scales, and yeah. After that, I started playing the bass because there's only 4 strings on a bass, and so it's obviously much easier to learn than the guitar,
Oh,
which
is
has
it?
a whole 6 strings.
Oh, I don't even know. I don't know anything about instruments. I keep telling you this.
Maybe you could be a bass player, though. I could see that in you. Yeah, so, and then I got the bass. I joined, like, they gave me a clarinet in junior high, but I didn't take to it too well. But I did enjoy, like, playing around. I love instruments. I would pick anything up and just play it. Like, if there was some crazy instrument over there, I'd just pick it up and, like, I'm going to figure this out. Whistle.
And the accordion, that is one instrument. I love the sound, but I just don't, because there's like the keys and there's the thing, and then you have to still move it around. Like, there's so many things happening with this one instrument, though.
Yeah. There's got a lot of power in it. You got the bass notes in your left hand, the melody. It's like the perfect one woman band instrument. I love it.
But I love the sound that it makes. I really do.
But it's true, though. It does take a lot of practice to learn a song on that instrument. Honestly, it does. Yeah.
You have to kind of move it in a specific way. Does it hurt your wrist when you're done?
Not so much.
No.
But yeah, when I would do it for lengthy periods of time, yeah, my wrist would get sore. Yeah, my fingers. Yeah.
And then it's like all instruments make you suffer. The guitar hurts your fingers, but of all these instruments you play, which one, if you had to play only one for the rest of your life, which one would it be?
I would pick the accordion.
Really?
Yeah, because, like I say, it has so much range. I don't know. I just love it. And then if you're playing the accordion in a band with other people, you can add sort of an atmospheric sort of sound, or you can do the bass. Like, it's really fun to jam on that instrument. Yeah.
Okay, at least you know what it is. Okay, the second album, how did that happen?
Oh yeah, Crossing the Causeway. Well, yeah, I was, I guess, like, there's a lot of lengthy, like, really, when I described to you, like, doing that concert in 2011 of the songs of Robbie Burns and how that therapeutic effect that had, like, at that time, I really started going to I was going to Cape Breton a lot to go to the dances, the workshops, I'd go for days on end with my tent or my sleeping bag in the back, and you just go. And it was like all that culture, all that traditional culture I find so healing, like the dancing, the playing tunes together. I just wanted to capture that part of what I love on a record. So, and I was living in Sydney, Cape Breton, when I had the idea to really go ahead with it. Mm. Yeah, so yeah, I wanted to, and also as like playing live, when I was living in Cape Breton, that was pretty much like, I worked only part-time at the school and as the music teacher at the French school board, but sometimes I would teach music there at the school in the mornings till noon, and then I would get off and I would go to Governor's Pub and play from 12 to 3 because the cruise ships would dock in Sydney, and then it was a cool lifestyle, actually.
Wow.
But I just wanted to capture all that music that I was playing in those bars and everywhere, and the square dance stages, because I would play guitar as an accompanist for fiddlers at the square dances too. Mm. And that's just something I love to do as well as sing and all that. So I just wanted to capture that on an album and make that concept album, kind of a geographical concept album.
And the title, where was that from?
Crossing the Causeway. Well, it's you kind of, when you live in Antigonish, Cape Breton's right there. It's kind of a route that you do. It's kind of iconic, that green bridge. But there's also this feeling that you get when you go across, that you're going to this special part of the world. It's on the edge of the continent, and there's also the concept of like the bridging because it's such a diverse place. Like there's so many different cultures, and because there was no bridge there for the longest time, they remained isolated. Maybe those languages like stayed there longer, and those different cultures are stronger in a way. So, yeah,
Wow.
there's that bridge concept, you know.
Totally love it. Okay, and my song, which you have to say what the title is again.
Oran Boysdale.
Oran
Boysdale. Yeah.
Oran Boysdale.
Yeah, Oran is just the Gaelic word for song. It's pronounced like it's spelled Oran.
Oran.
And then Boysdale is the place. Yeah.
So the song from that place.
Yeah.
What was the inspiration behind that song?
That song, it was during that time, like around 2011, when I was going to Cape Breton to the workshops. I went to this workshop. It's a place called Christmas Island, and they would have this fèis, which means festival in Gaelic. And I went to a workshop, and they taught us that song there. It was from an archival recording, and there's an old woman singing that song, and you can hear like she has pet birds and they're chirping in the original. So anyways, I learned that song, and I always loved it, and when I went to record it, my friends Bradley Murphy and Colin Grant are playing piano and fiddle on it, and they kind of took it to a whole new level.
It's a beautiful song. Okay,
Thank
so what's next for Mary Beth now? You're working on a new album, or?
Well, I bought the purple ink for the album cover. I have like a rough idea. I really need to hunker down with that pen and that journal, and I have an idea to make like an accordion-centered album.
Oh, your favorite.
I've been playing a lot with my friend Jacques Mandreau lately, and that's been inspiring. And he hasn't been on any of my previous recordings. It would be fun. I think it would be fun to work with him.
Do you have right now? I mean, I know the album is going to take some time, but do you have any song that is kind of done for this album yet? No?
Not at all.
Oh my god! Oh
This
my
is
god!
all like
In your
ideas
head.
right now.
Wait! You wrote it down?
I might, like I do have songs of mine that I've written that I love that I want to record. But I think they might be like for a different outlet. Do you know what I mean? Like I have this whole, I don't know. I look forward to having the time to go into like a creative process because so the Crossing the Causeway is a lot of traditional songs, but the next one I want to focus on that creative process of writing. And people really did like the 3 original songs that were on Crossing the Causeway, like Blueberry Mountain and Tow Truck Song and Deer Island. So I'm like, I can write songs that people like. Not that I also want to, really it's about when writing songs that you like and that you want to sing. And I still feel that about those songs from my first album. I still love singing those songs. Like they make me happy. So I just want to create some more things. I want to surprise myself, and I want to surprise you when you
Okay.
Yeah, I'll let you know though.
I know it's still conceptual, it's still way ahead, but is it gonna be ready next year or no?
I take a really long time to make albums, and I get frustrated with how long it takes, But we'll see where it goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the guitar is a guitar. What are the sticks on? What are the? I keep calling them triangles, but obviously they're not
the
triangles.
jaw harp here, yeah. Oh yeah, I got these sticks here. They're called the bones.
The bones?
The bones, yeah. And they're also, like this instrument, they're an ancient instrument that is found in many cultures around the world. But, yeah. Do you want to hear them?
Yes, please.
Usually I have a stomping board and loud shoes that would go along with it, but you can just...
You make it look so easy. It isn't easy. I mean, I can kind of... What?
Oh, no, again. Yeah, it looks easy.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, when I was learning this instrument, also was a very source of frustration. You'd be just trying to get one noise. You want to try?
Because it's like, you have the finger making sort of like a gap between, but your movement is actually moving it, but you're also moving it. It's like you're doing three different movements at the same time, which
Well, you don't really move your fingers. They're kind of stuck in position. It's really all in the wrist.
yeah.
It's really all in the wrist. But then you can kind of turn it into a dance, and every bones player kind of has their own style,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's super fun, right?
It sounds great too.
It does.
And then the jaw harp.
Yeah, the jaw harp.
They have different sizes too.
Yeah, I have different sizes here. These ones I got ordered. They're specially made. I chose the keys. So yeah, they each, and the guy who made them in Slovakia, his name is Peter Sobata. He wrote the keys on the back. So this one's an A. I have two in A actually. We can compare like the sounds of them. So that's one of the A's. Here's another one.
Are you blowing or sucking?
Yeah, you're kind of a little bit of both. And you're moving your tongue. I'll do this. And can you say your full name?
Israel.
And your last Israel
Ekanem.
I'm going to say that with this E two and a half.
So I can it's an old instrument, but it also sounds like something they made in a computer. So that one
isn't
It
that
does.
crazy though? It's like so old it's new, and that's why I'm so fascinated with. I love listening to music. Older the better, and from the farthest reaches of the earth the better too. That's sort of my fascination. That yeah. Okay, so here's a D one. Want to hear this one? And then I have this little one that a friend gave me, and if you're just listening to the podcast, this one is much smaller, but I think you'll hear it's much louder.
Wow. So the smaller the louder, is that how it works?
I need to build my jaw harp collection because I showed these to someone and they were like, "Oh man, yeah, you there's this other there's people who know where to get the good ones. I need to figure it out." But is the smaller the louder? Not always. Maybe I'm not sure. We need a scientist.
Well, thanks for sharing that. Okay, so I'd love you to play something to end the show, but before you do that, I'm curious though, why? What do you love about singing, making music?
Yeah. I was saying earlier about the whole like the therapeutic aspect of it, and there's something very, the community aspect is really something I love. Singing with people or playing music with people, and all that practice that I did over those years by myself with the piano, was leading me up to something where you can create community. Even if you're playing music on a stage, the people who are there to listen, you're somehow creating a community with, it's like a real group kind of a thing, you know?
Yeah.
I love that about music. That's just one thing, you know? There's so many.
Okay.
But it's how I make friends. Do you know what I mean? I'm kind of a shy person, but if I get on stage and sing, everyone wants to talk to you, and then it's a great way to make friends, honestly.
Yeah, it is, I agree. Okay, last one though. Why is music important to you?
Why is music important to me? So many reasons. Music is literally my life. Do you know what I mean? for me, it's kind of my, on one hand, it's my obsession, and another hand, it is my comfort, and it's like, it really is my life. And why? Yeah, it's because it has a therapeutic effect for me, really, like listening to music. I'm constantly listening to music. I'm constantly making playlists. I'm constantly Shazamming songs on the radio.
I love Shazam.
Because I want to go back and I'm like, oh, I love this song. Like, who is this artist? I want to hear this song again. And like, you know, I just, yeah, and it's also that feeling of discovery, that feeling of never ending discovery. And like, life can't be long enough that you could listen to all the music, right? It kind of gives music, I don't know, it's my reason that I'm alive. It's a raison d'etre. That is my take.
Mary Beth, thank you so much.
Music is life.
It is life. I agree. I love music. I just, I'm so envious that you can play all these things. Okay, I'm going to clear out and let you play a song. But thank you so much for coming to the podcast today. Like, do you want me to sit down? Okay, fine. Yeah. I'll sit down here with you.
Okay.
Do you want to share any of your, like, just a little snippet of a song to play on the show? Okay.
I'm gonna sing your favorite song. I'm gonna share like your favorite song from the album is Oran Boysdale. Is that right?
Boysdale, yep.
That song, for me, when I was trying to understand like what the person who would have written that song wanted to express, like how they were feeling, and what happened, like what was going on in the song. Like I divided it into kind of 3 sections. So when you listen, the first section is sort of I feel like it would have been a woman who wrote the song. That's just a feeling I have, but you can never be sure. Other people might have a different interpretation. I feel like the first part, she's describing the scene of what happened when she went for a walk in the mountains and ran into 2 people. Anyways, and then there's a kind of the fiddle solo, and then the next part of the song, she's really just describing how she can't sleep and how much that's bothering her, and how much of in pain and she's feeling. And then there's another fiddle solo in the song, and then the end of the song and the words, she's sort of describing a solution of the hope, something that's giving her hope. And it's really a lot of Gaelic songs, it's like sailing the seas. And so that's how I broke that song down when I went to record it. But here's Oran Boysdale.
All right. Wow. Thank you so much, Mary Beth. That was amazing.
Thank you so much, Israel.